Second thing I want to do is looking at trading rules. So what you want to do is you want to think about what rules should you have in place for all of your trade entries, for trade entries and for trade exits. So let's talk about trade entries first, right? So here's a prompt that I've built, and you can use this as a starting point or as a template. So let's go to ChatGPT. We'll create a new chat here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to prompt it. I'm going to say, I have a set of trading rules that I want you to analyze the following trade with. Help me understand if this is a trade that I should make or not. And I have a list of rules, right? So I say, I never want to risk more than $1,000 per trade. Whoops, what just happened there? I never want to risk more than $1,000 per trade. You obviously want to customize that for your own portfolio size and the percentage of your portfolio that you're willing to risk. I only want to trade with a 6-month trend, never against it. So maybe you like to trend follow, right? Maybe you don't like to trade counter trend. So you want to make sure that whatever direction you're trading aligns with the long-term trend of the stock. I want to purchase options if the IV rank is below 30. I want to be selling options if the IV rank is above 30. You don't have to follow these rules. These are just examples of types of rules that people generally have when they're trading options. You can choose to include them, not include them, change the parameters to your own liking. I want to only trade when the options play score is greater than 80. This gives you a risk to reward kind of threshold to make sure that the risk reward of a strategy looks good before you place the trade. I only want to trade when the liquidity is either very liquid or somewhat liquid, and I want to avoid stocks that are not liquid. I generally want to take bullish positions when the relative strength is greater than 5 and bearish positions when it's below 5. And I want to avoid entering a position if the stock is up or down more than 5% on that given day. So basically, if the stock is gapped up 10%, I don't want to enter a trade on that day. I want to only trade stocks that have reasonably opened within where it closed yesterday. So then what I'm able to do is I'm able to take a trade. So let's say I'm looking at options play. Let's go back to Apple real quick. Let's say I'm thinking about a bullish trade here on Apple and I'm thinking about buying, let's say, the debit spread here in Apple, right? So what I'm able to do is I can take a screenshot in options play. I can take a screenshot of this part of the screen. I'll highlight this for you just to make sure everyone can see it, right? Whoops. This part of the screen. So what I'm able to do is basically capture the trade details on that screen because it includes all of the metrics that I need to make a trading decision. I just took a screenshot there, and what I'm able to do is I'm able to upload that alongside with these set of rules. And it's just going to tell me whether I should place this trade or not. And it'll go through all of my rules one by one, tell me which one of the rules it satisfies, which one it doesn't. So here, risk management. So risk management, this is within my trade limit, so I'm good there. Trade alignment. As you can see, if you look at my conclusion, risk management met because the trade was, I think, $570 worth of risk. That's within my $1,000 limit. I must trade with the 6-month trend, and the 6-month trend is bullish. I'm making a bullish trade. It's able to interpret that for me as well. The IV rank is currently 26, which is below 30, and I'm using a debit spread, which aligns with the way that I'm using IV rank. The options play score is 103, which is better than the 80 that I need. Liquidity is very liquid. That meets my liquidity requirements. Relative strength is 5, which is exactly the threshold that I need for a bullish trade. And then the stock is up 0.53%, so well within the 5% range that I'm looking for. So as you can see, it tells me, okay, it's met all of my trading criteria, all 7 of my trading criteria. This means that and I don't have to go through and remember all my rules. It just does the work for me and says, okay, I've met all my rules. Let me go ahead and place this trade. Vice versa, let me look. I have another trade, I think, set up here. Here's another one. What about this trade? So going forward, once you put in your rules one time, that's all it takes a few minutes to think about what your rules are for yourself. Do it once. Articulate it. Once you're able to articulate it, you will actually be a much better trader because now you know, put it in writing what your rules are. And then options play score will tell me, okay, it does not meet my risk management. That's a pretty big one for me, but it meets all the other ones. So, this is one that I have to think about. Here I'm risking $1,117, but my maximum is $1,000. maybe that's within a comfort level. You're saying it's only $100 more than my $1,000 limit. I'll accept that risk tolerance. So let me go ahead and place that trade. But maybe on other trades, it's a $5,000 risk limit. And I'll say, hey, I'm staying way outside of my range. This is not something I want to do. And you can even be more clever, right? You can say, certain ones there's a little bit of wiggle room on. So maybe the options play score, if it doesn't meet that, you can have a little bit of wiggle room. And you can say there are other rules that are hard and fast. No matter what happens, if it doesn't meet a specific criteria, don't trade this, right? So you can actually tell ChatGPT all of this information. It obviously takes a bit of time to build these rules correctly. But once you build it correctly, you now have an assistant that will review every single trade that you make and tell you whether or not you're following your rules. So if you come back to this trade, let's say you do go ahead and place that American Express trade, and you come back to it 4 weeks later, and the trade didn't work out, and you've lost more money than you expected to, you can actually go back and audit this and say, did I follow all of my rules, right? And you can see, oh, I didn't follow my risk tolerance rules. Let me make sure I don't exceed that. I don't ignore that rule ever going forward, right? And if, let's say, this trade does work out and it doesn't work out, but you followed all your rules, then you can say, okay, you know what? I followed all my rules. I did everything correctly. It just didn't work out. That's okay. Let me move on. I'm going to move on to the next trade, but I did everything correctly. This is how you improve and become a better trader, because if you think about professional traders, how are they different from most retail traders? They have rules that they have to stick by, and if they don't stick by those rules, they get fired. So this is a way to help you stick to those same rules that professional traders have to stick by, and help you stay in the game and help you become a profitable trader. And I put 7 rules in here that I think are very similar to what a lot of you might be using for your trading. You might have different variations, you might have different thresholds, but consider using some of these rules, if not all of them, in your own trading. Incredibly powerful. And the great thing about options play is that all of the information that you need is on your screen. You don't have to pull the information. If you're pulling this on your own platform, you might find that liquidity and IV rank are in different places and you have to take different screenshots. You might have risk and reward metrics in different places. On options play, you have everything on one screen. So all I have to do is take a screenshot of this part of the trade of the screen, and I now have all the information that I need to make a decision and understand whether I follow my rules or not.